Hey guys, Josh here. This is Must See Before You Die, and we are doing A Last of Us, Episode 4, Please Hold My Hand, episode review. And this episode was really good, I thought. I liked it. I thought it was good. Back to kind of like the video game form from Episode 3, where it really strayed away from the video game. Episode 4 definitely takes you back to the video game. And it really kind of shows you the bond between Joel and Ellie is starting to grow and grow and grow here. And Joel is really protecting her a lot. They were in the woods and Joel was protecting her. They've been driving in Bill's truck, and they ended up making it to Kansas City. So a funny thing is, Ellie has a book of puns, and she reads a bunch of them and laughs, and Joel's kind of like, okay. He's like laughing under his breath, kind of, but, and she asked Joel some of them, like if he knows them, and he does know the one about the scarecrow. He's an expert in his field or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but it was really funny. So yeah, she's just, she's still youthful, and even in a time like this and a situation like this, she's still youthful and innocent in a way. And it's really nice to see the bond. And you can kind of know that he, is thinking, even though it's been 20 years, he's still thinking about his daughter. And Ellie, he definitely is becoming more of like a figure to Ellie than just a guy. So you can see this development. And like I said, they made it to Kansas City. Oh, and there's one part where she goes in the back seat and she finds a tape, a cassette tape, and she goes, "Hey, here's something that you might know," and it's a Hank Williams song or tape. And Joe goes, "Actually, it's way before my time." He goes, "But it's good though," and he pops it in. And actually, that song was in the game a time or two. But she actually finds like a magazine in the back that was Bill's. It was like a men's adult magazine. And she was like saying a bunch of stuff. She's like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Why are all these pages stuck together?" And he's like, "Huh?" And she's like, "No, I'm just kidding with you. I'm just messing with you." And she throws it out the window. And she's like, "See ya, dude." It was funny. But the biggest part of this is they actually make it to Kansas City, and they're driving, and they're on a highway, and this bridge is blocked. And they're like, "Okay, we can't. So maybe we can go down like a side road in the city and make it." Well, this is right out of the game, and it's really awesome. They pull up, and a guy's like, "Oh, I'm hurt." And she's like, "Oh, you gonna help him?" And he goes, "Put your seatbelt on." And she's like, "Are you going to help him?" And he's like, "No." And he floors it towards him. And the guy's like, "Ah," and jumps out of the way. And there's another guy up top. He throws like a big like cinder block at their truck. It hits their windshield. And then they drive over these spikes, pops all their tires. Now, this group of guys is called the Hunters. And they're after just anybody for for their goods, and basically they'll kill people. They ended up crashing into a laundromat, which is really well done. They get out of the truck. There's about 3 guys after them. Joel has a rifle. He takes one of the guys out, and one of the guys is like, "Oh, Jake," or whatever the guy's name is. And then another guy comes in. There's a hole in the wall, and Joel says, "Ellie, climb through this hole and get in there and stay safe." So he does, and he goes, "Nothing's going to happen to you." She gets in there. Another guy walks in, and his gun's jammed. And he has a shotgun, but he hits him with the butt of the gun, and the guy shoots the gun up, and then Joel ends up killing this guy. And then another guy comes in, and he's choking Joel, and Joel's like almost dead. And Ellie does have a gun on her. She took a gun from Bill's, and I think it was Bill's, or maybe it was, I don't remember. But she had it, and she shot this guy. So it was really good. Now let me go back to a part that I just remembered as I was talking about this. So when they were leaving Bill's, they actually stopped at the store where Joel frequented, and he hid supplies. And so he wanted to get something. Well, she is real, she's real adventurous. She goes down into this freaking like basement, and there's a clicker down there, or infected. She ends up stabbing it in the head, and she finds a box of tampons, and she's like, yeah. Oh, excuse me. And she finds that box of tampons, and she's really happy about it. And she's like, oh, I thought you said this place was... And it was really cool because she took out this zombie. She actually cut his head, and you can see the tendrils all grown in his head. It was awesome. But she ended up taking him out. And, but yeah, so then jumping ahead to these hunters. So there's a leader of these hunters, and her name is Kathleen. She's kind of like the new, I guess she's not in the game. She's like leading all these hunters. I guess they overthrew Fedra, the quarantine zone. Because when they got there, Joel and Ellie pull up, they're like, wait, the quarantine zone shut down? Which is actually good for them, I think, because they would have scanned Ellie and probably shot her because she's infected. So these people are kind of controlling this city now. They're like, they're the hunters. And they found like a pile of, they drive by, when they're driving, they drive by a thing of bodies, and they're just burnt up. And some of the bodies look small, like they're children. So... So the big fight scene where I thought there'd be more guys there than just 3 trying to stop this truck, but there wasn't. Well, one of the guys, was, they were upset that he was dead. This Kathleen and the woman, they go check him, and, she's actually interrogating like a doctor, and she's like, hey, she's like, my brother died. This guy was apparently a part of Fedra. And there's like, we're looking for Henry and Sam, and you don't know these characters yet. And they're like, we're looking for them. Tell us where they are, blah, blah, blah. And they actually ended up finding where Henry and Sam were, some of these men of hers, find where they were stowed up. There's lots of pictures drawn of like superheroes and stuff, and there's a bunch of cans of food up there. And so she goes back and just shoots this guy. Boom! Shoots the doctor, just blows him away. And, yeah, so they're on the lookout for Joel and Ellie, and they're on the lookout for Sam and Henry. They don't know exactly who Joel and Ellie are. They're just out looking for them. And so Joel and Ellie go in this building, and they're like going to stay the night there. And Joel puts down all this glass on the ground, and... because he's like, well, if they walk and they open the door up, there's only one way in, and they'll walk in this glass and I'll hear it. And Ellie notices that one of his ears is hard of hearing. So that's why he sleeps on the one side so he can hear it. But all of a sudden, like, Joel closes his eyes, and then all of a sudden Ellie's like, Joel. Joel wakes up and he sees, and there's a man with a gun on Ellie. And then Joel looks, and there's a kid with a gun in Joel's face. And the kid's like, shh. So, yeah, so these people, the kid and the man is Sam and Henry, and they actually they are characters in the game that you run into, and they're running from the people like they are in the game, or in the show, and they have, so Sam and Henry are allies of yours in the game, so I want to see. I mean, they could take in a different direction here. I don't know, so I guess we'll see. But overall, it was a good episode. They do allude, I think, to a bloater that is coming, because Kathleen and her main dude, like her main guard guy, he takes her into this room and shows her, and like the pavement like breathes up. It's like. It's like a big area. It's like something big down there. And they're like, okay, leave it alone. They shut the door. And they're like, should we tell everybody else? And she's like, no. And he's like, whoa. And also, a fun fact is the guy that plays her main dude actually voiced Tommy in the game, Joel's brother. So that's really cool that they gave some of these voice actors from the game roles in the show. But yeah, there is a bloater coming, and I think it's next episode. If it's next episode or the next after that, because the hunters don't last long. I mean, maybe 2 episodes. I don't know, but we'll see. So, like I said, enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you think. Must See Before You Die. Like, comment, subscribe. We have a Facebook page, Must See Before You Die Horror Community. Go check it out on Facebook, guys. See ya.